So let's take this garage from, well, this to this. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into actually cleaning and organizing this garage, let me first talk about what this video is not. This is not going to be some sort of dramatic change with epoxy floors and hexagon lights and black painted walls. We're not going for that. We want just function. And the truth is, this video is not about my garage. This video is about your garage. What I want to do with this video is I want to talk about 5 things to help you get organized and stay organized. Especially when you have a space like my garage that has to be shared with lawnmowers, bicycles, mechanics tools, outdoor equipment, whatever, you name it. It's got to function, it's got to be able to be useful, and I want to enjoy actually being out here when I'm working on cars and stuff. So let's talk about this philosophy for organizing your garage. The first thing we got to do is we have to define the space. Like, what are you going to be using your space, your garage for? Are you going to be storing family items like bikes and mowers? Do you want to be able to have pull in a car or a motorcycle to be able to fix it? Because believe it or not, there is a motorcycle underneath there, sadly. The point is you want to define the space and then do things in order for that space to achieve its purpose. Right? So for my garage, my main need, or defining the space, this side of my garage, I want to be family items. Coolers, bikes, pools, mowers, whatever, on this side. But on this side, I want to be able to have my car stuff. I've got tools here, but I got my parts or my chemicals here. I want to be able to store parts that I'm not using yet. I have a parts washing station I have sitting underneath my workbench that I'm not using. And where my phone is right now is a workbench that I built a couple years ago and I thought was a great idea, but it kind of just accumulates clutter. Now that we define the space, we really want to be able to use the next 4 things to be able to achieve that purpose of fulfilling what the space is intended to be. The next question is efficiency, right? What is in this garage or in your garage that has to stay in the garage? Like, for instance, I have this pool here. We only bust it out usually in the summers, or that was the plan. It hasn't been used yet. So for right now, this pool has to stay here. It's too late in the year to put it out, and so we're gonna have to wait till next year. But I built the shelf, and again, not planning ahead, I built it way too low. So since it does have to stay here, I have to maximize the efficiency of my space. So for instance, I'm going to utilize the space that's really not being used, which is up above this garage door. So I'm going to move this shelf up so I can put it up there where otherwise that space is not really that usable. I also have things in my garage like this attic up here. Now, it's not super easily accessible. I have to use this 9-foot ladder here that I keep up there. But it is a space where you can put things long term. I could put that pool up there, but let's be real, it's such a bear to move with steel sides and a huge liner. It's somewhere I don't want to be on a 9-foot ladder to be able to pull it out. So that's where it's going to live. But before we talk about the next part, we need to get all of this junk out of here. Well, we got a lot of it out. Don't pay attention to that. But the problem is, we got to figure out where all this goes. Now the temptation is when you've got everything out of the garage and somewhat clean inside, the temptation is just to kind of rush it and throw it all back in there because you're just done for the day. Fight the temptation. Now that we have defined the space, we have worked out our efficiency, and we are now in a place where we can finally start putting things away and organizing them the right way. The first point of organization is everything has to have a home. When it doesn't, it just gets put somewhere that it fits, and then it ends up making more of a mess. Think of it like your toolbox, right? Each drawer has to have a purpose, and the tools have to have a place to go in that drawer. Because if they were just kind of tossed wherever, you would never be able to find what you actually need, or if you were able to find it, the job that you're doing would take twice as long because you can't find the tools that you need. So when you're putting stuff away, make sure it has a home. For instance, our bikes are right here. They get on a hook. Each bike has its own hook, and then when the bikes come in, that's where they go. Hopefully, my son will actually put his bike away instead of just leaving it outside for me to put away. We also have dedicated space right here for our coolers, for our grill stuff. All of it has its own spot, and when it gets taken out, it's easy to grab, but then once we're done using it, it goes right back to its home. Maintains things being constantly used the right way and put back where they need to be, so the next time we need them, we know exactly where it's at. Now, one key piece of staying organized is having a good place to work, like this workbench, for example. Now, I will say this video is sponsored by 4Dock. They sent me this workbench. They sent me this awesome work light for working on cars with magnetic base. We've got some gloves that they sent me, and actually when we were ripping out all of my pantry, we used all those gloves, and everybody loved them, including one guy who's been doing remodeling for 45 years. He actually is going to be putting in an order for these gloves because he liked them so much. But let me be real with you guys for a second. When it comes to sponsorships, I want to make sure that I'm picking products, one, that are affordable. It's not going to do you any good if I'm recommending something that's way out of your price range. But secondly to price is I want to make sure that for buying something and you're spending your hard-earned money on it, as I would be, it's quality. It's good to be used. It's going to stand up to the test of time. Now, one thing I will say about 4Dock when they sent this out to me, they actually sent me links to videos on how to assemble it, which honestly made it so much easier. The instructions were great, but the video helped so much more. That's pretty darn low. Now, if I was to be working on an engine or working on parts, something that's pretty big, putting it down low would be really helpful. But this thing says it can lift 700 pounds. So it should survive the 250-pound tub of lard test. Not even phased. Still going.
One eternity later.
Well, if I had stuff in my attic that I needed, I could use this workbench. I will say this, it doesn't move very quickly. But hey, if it can lift 700 pounds, wouldn't move very quickly either. But that's not it. You see, this workbench actually came with an accessory that goes on top. It has like a metal pegboard and a shelf, which means I need to get rid of those. What's awesome about this workbench is it can raise and lower depending on how you need with this awesome accessory, which is an add-on. You don't have to get this, but it comes with a shelf, it comes with two pegboard ends, and it comes with the plate in order to put the bins in there. Now, this bench altogether, exactly how this is probably around $1,200. But just for the workbench by itself, it's only $1,000. Now, $1,000 to some of you may seem like a lot, as it would to me. But if you're buying a workbench that fulfills the need and has a lot of the other accessories like this one does, anywhere else, you're gonna be spending $1,500 to $2,500. So this is really, really affordable for what it is, and it's an incredible quality workbench. Being able to lift 700 pounds, it's kind of incredible. I've had this workbench now for about a month, and I've been using it all the time, fixing brakes, doing little odds and ends things. When I made the electrical harness for the under cabinet lighting, I used this workbench. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description if you wanna purchase your own workbench or any of the other things that 4Dock has available. They've got tools, woodworking workbenches, they've got fans, they've got all kinds of other stuff. So check them out. It really helps the channel out when we get sponsors like this, that you guys use the links and purchase things from them. And I really would appreciate it. So go ahead, check out 4Dock in the description. The next thing we're gonna talk about is infrastructure. Right? The first thing you want to think about when it comes to infrastructure is right of retrieval. The things that you use often and the things that you need pretty easily are going to be the things you have to make sure you're prioritizing when you store them. For example, all of my chemicals are right here. I've got all of my cleaners and oils and filters and things like that. I've got cleaning supplies. I've got some cleaning brushes and things. And then also the same thing with my auto parts. I've got The smaller car up top, the bigger car on the bottom, because the rotors and brakes and stuff like that are going to be heavier. But it's going to be easier for me to grab those things when I use them often and regularly, especially when they're easy out in the open and they can be used. You want to consider this really when you're looking at your workbench or your toolbox. Make sure the tools that you are using often are going to be right at eye level and easy to grab. The things that are going to be on lower shelves are things you still need access to, but aren't going to be doing it as often. That's because the last drawer you're going to check usually is the bottom, unless that's its home. In the summertime, when we're actually mowing our grass regularly, we want our lawnmower to be ready accessible, which is why it's right here. All you have to do is pull it out, mow, and put it right back. The gas can is right behind it, so when you pull it out, you can grab the gas can as you're pulling it out, pour it in, and it's easy. It makes the job a little bit more manageable to do. I hate mowing my lawn, and actually my wife has to do it because it tries to kill me because of my allergies. At least that's what I tell her. Hopefully she doesn't watch this. But it's easy to grab. You pull it out, it's ready to go, and you can go ahead and do what you need to do with it and put it right back where it belongs. The next thing we gotta talk about is making a plan for cleaning up after yourself. For example, my workbench, the things that are underneath it prevent dirt and dust from getting underneath there. Or if you want to have things on wheels or things that are easy to be able to pull out, clean up when you need to, and then put it right back, it makes things a little bit more manageable. For instance, I let my garage get way out of hand, and the cleanup was kind of a big job. You've noticed by my multiple shirt changes, this has been a couple of days working on this garage. But the thing is if you plan for cleaning, you make sure you make a plan or you set up your garage in a way that makes it a lot easier to clean. So for example, this stuff that's over here is gonna be sold or goes to be donated. But if I need to pull a car in here, all I have to do is back the motorcycle out, pull the car right in, it's open, it's ready to go. When I'm done, I can pull the car out and grab my leaf blower and blow everything out that I need to get out of the garage and put it in my driveway, because I don't really care about my driveway. But it's also important to think about when small things can roll underneath a workbench or underneath a toolbox. You kind of want to try to prevent that as much as possible. I know I've had it where I have big hands and a small little tiny bit falls out of my drill and it just happens to roll under the place where it's the most difficult to grab. Plan for those things to happen. Now let's talk about lighting. Now, I already know that is a different color than the rest of the lights in my garage. But this light, conveniently, is not hooked up to the light switch. So I can walk up, turn it off, and I don't actually need it, because then all of my light is over here on my workbench where I'm gonna be working. If I pull a car in, all of this light's gonna be pouring into the engine bay where I'm doing most of my stuff. However, if I were to have a car that got backed in or I was working on the back of the brakes, I can turn this on and then I can use it. With it being a different color, it doesn't bother me right now. It might change in the future and therefore it will change. But I'm gonna tell you, you don't need hexagon lights and these big expensive fixtures. They're cool and they're nice. They're also really expensive and they're a little bit difficult to kind of set up and measure and get all of that stuff. So here's the thing. Make sure you have certain things when it comes to lighting in your garage, especially if you're using your garage on purpose or with a purpose. Make sure you don't need the expensive lights. These lights here, I think were $14 on sale, and I've got 3 of them out here. I think that one's even a Bluetooth speaker. I don't use it, but it's cool to have. The other thing about working on a car is overhead lighting's great, but if you open your hood and you're working on something in the engine, it doesn't matter what kind of overhead lighting you got, that hood is blocking all of the light from inside your engine bay. Like I said with Ford Doc, they sent me this light here. Now these are kind of things that are kind of cool. It has a bottom, high, low, top, high, low, and then both high, low, off. It's got a magnet on the bottom, but these kinds of things, now you don't need this one, but there are certain accessory lights you want to make sure you have available to you. So that way when you're working on a car, you can stick this on your hood, unless of course you're like me and you have an aluminum hood and the magnet doesn't stick. Thank you, Ford. The point is, plan for light where you need it. For example, I have most of my lights right here above the workbench. There are no lights over my bikes over there, because chances are if we're pulling the bikes out, it's daylight out, the garage door is going to be open, and it's going to be plenty of light to be able to see the bikes. This is an accessory light. It's nice to have. I probably won't need it that often. So most of the time it's off. I didn't spend a lot of money over there. I'm not investing more money into lights on that side of my garage because I never use them. But I will know that I need light over here because I'm going to be using it under my workbench, and I have accessory lights to be able to put on the car or whatever I'm working on to see what I need. So when it comes to lighting, just make sure your garage is well lit where you need the light. And then where you don't have light, make sure you have accessory lights available. It makes things so much easier. Well guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey and on this video. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, check out the links for 4Dock, get your own workbench from them with adjustable height, and some of the other accessories that they have available there. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully you can implement some of these things into organizing your garage, your shop, or your workspace. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next one.